Good evening and welcome to Nationwide Today on the network service of the NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you so much for joining us. The Progressives Governors Forum has expressed formal appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for the bold and courageous steps taken so far towards restoring unity and cohesion in the governing party as it strives to return to winning ways. This was when the representatives of the forum, led by its chairman and governor of Kebbi State, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, paid a congratulatory visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Basking in the euphoria of the successful emergency NEC meeting that saved the governing party from further drifts and disintegration, the APC governors are here to say thank you to President Muhammadu Buhari for making this possible. The chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum was accompanied on the mission by, amongst others, the new chairman, caretaker, and extraordinary convention planning committee of the party, Governor Maimala Buni of Yobe State, and the chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum and governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi.
We thanked Mr. President for all he has been doing for the Progressive family, which culminated in the visionary and momentous resolution of party disputes that took place yesterday. Testimonials, news, commentaries, media from across the country are all happy for what has been done yesterday. He's happy that at last we want less distraction, because Mr. President is conscious of the mandate given to him by Nigerians. And even though he bothers a lot about his party, but what dominates his daily action is economy, security, transparency, and the progress of Nigeria.
During the closed-door meeting, the APC governors also used the opportunity to appreciate the president for returning Nigeria on the path to sustainable growth and development through his visionary, purposeful, and selfless leadership.
Our country is more food secure. The economy, even though challenged by coronavirus pandemic and recovering from a recession in 2016, is doing better than most countries in similar situation. Accountability has increased tremendously. We are hearing about security gains on a daily basis in all parts of the country. And those are what Mr. President's campaigned upon. And Nigeria has one of the most robust responses to the coronavirus pandemic, all because of his thoughtful, imaginary, and patriotic leadership.
The engagement was also an opportunity to formally introduce the new chairman, caretaker committee of the governing party, as he strives to uphold justice in the administration of the APC and restore discipline amongst the faithful. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And Governor Godwin Obaseki has emerged as the People's Democratic Party standard bearer in the Edo 2020 gubernatorial election slated for September 19. Chairman Edo 2020 PDP gubernatorial primary election and Governor Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, declared Godwin Obaseki winner, having scored 1,952 votes, representing 96.4% of total votes cast at the party's primary held at the Samuel Ogbamudia Stadium in Benin City. Obaseki became the sole candidate as other aspirants, Kenneth Emaswagmo, Ogbede Iyama, and George Ihene, stepped down for him. Good luck, Inaini has the reports.
A total of 2,252 delegates were accredited for the exercise. INEC officials and some observers witnessed the exercise, which was orderly. There was security presence.
The process is seamless and it's going very well. Everything went well, beautiful, and I'm so happy.
You can see that it's completely hitch-free.
The Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu was one of the delegates.
You can see how organized and peaceful the voting is, and I'm very excited.
Members of the primary election committee, including the governors of Oyo State, Sheyi Makinde, and Bello Matawale of Zamfara State, partook in the collation of results, recording 2,024 as total vote cast, while 72 votes were invalid. Governor Obaseki sees the outcome of the exercise as divine.
at this point in time, it was the best interest of Edo for me to continue with the work we're doing. Let's now use this opportunity to fast-track the reforms we started.
With this development, Obaseki will now contest with Osage Ize-Iyamo of the APC and other candidates in the remaining 13 parties. In Benin, Goodluck Enaini, NTA News.
Now let's shift attention to a global concern. As the world marks International Day Against Drug Abuse, stakeholders in Nigeria are drawing attention to the dangers of drug abuse and illicit trafficking. Obiageli Uboke reports that a committee on narcotic drugs is championing this cause, with particular focus on tackling the increasing spate of drug abuse amongst youths.
The rise in numbers of drug abusers all over the world is generating lots of concerns. Its devastating impact has led to loss of lives and crime, especially among youth. As countries fight to raise awareness about substance abuse and unlawful drug trade, Nigeria's Committee on Narcotic Drugs is collaborating with stakeholders, government parastatals, commissions, and the UN representatives regulating and monitoring drug business in Nigeria to fight the scourge.
In Nigeria presently, drug use is about 3 times as high as the global average. We have more than 3 million individuals that live with a drug-induced disorder.
We should declare drug abuse an emergency.
Let us not just condemn people that we see that are into drugs, but let us see what we can do to help them.
The narcotic ambassador, Dr. Christabel Okoye, is advocating full participation of individuals in addressing drug abuse, which she says is jeopardizing the future of Nigerian youth.
We have taken this drug war to different communities and schools in Anambra State, Akwa Ibom, Lagos, Rivers, Cross River, Kano, Abia, Kebbi, and almost all the states in Nigeria.
The theme for the 2020 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking is tagged Better Knowledge for Better Care. Obiageli Ugoke, NTA News.
And still on tackling substance abuse, youths are set to be the leaders of tomorrow. But while tomorrow is yet to come, Nigerian youths have resorted to drugs and other addictive substances as a way of life, which constitutes a threat to their future. Umar Basi Eda takes a look at the increasing trend of drug abuse among youths.
Research shows that young people constitute a higher number of persons indulging in drug abuse, and most of them are without means of livelihood, thus questioning the affordability of these substances. In a bid to raise their emotions above the normal, they abuse substances like tramadol, codeine, nail polish remover, and even animal dung.
People sniff toilet, people sniff fuel, people sniff lizard drop. So how do government fight that?
Beyond the many health hazards, including damage to the brain, the increasing crime rate in the country cannot be isolated from drug use.
If you're a parent or a guardian and you're still looking for that maybe smell of cannabis or to see the new seeds, you may not. This time they put inside their Coke, inside their mineral, inside their soft drinks or even water. They drink it even in your presence.
Parents should know the kind of company their kids are keeping, where their kids are, and what their kids are doing. Landlords should know what their tenants are doing and what they are using their properties that they are not in use of for.
The stakeholders are also of the opinion that rehabilitation centers be established across all the states of the Federation for proper care of drug victims. In Calabar, Umar Basidate, NTA News.
Still on substance abuse, drugs and crime are viewed as an impediment to the achievements of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Goals, particularly on the health of mankind and adversely affecting societal growth. Therefore, key stakeholders involved in checking drug abuse in Akwa Ibom State, while reacting to the essence of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, stressed the need for effective implementation of international drug control Convention and human rights obligations. Udwak Etham reports.
Drug abuse is the use of certain chemicals for the purpose of creating effects on the brain. Apart from the long-term damage to the body, drug abuse causes drug addicts. Supported every year by individuals and various organizations worldwide, the global observance of International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking aimed at raising awareness of the major problem associated with illicit drugs.
A lot of people take drugs because they are frustrated. I would encourage, especially our youth, not to engage in drug trafficking. It's against the policy of Nigerian government.
I will advise the youth to stay off drugs. If at all, one has to succeed in life.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Akwa Ibom State Command, decried the immense consequences of drug abuse by youths, which not only affect the users, but also the immediate family, thereby causing havoc on the society.
From July 2019, last year, to date, the agency in Akwa Ibom State Command has seized a total of 562 kilograms of assorted drugs, and 273 suspects have been arrested. Out of this number, 25 of them were rehabilitated and reintegrated back to the mainstream of the productive society.
The idea of this year's theme, which is better knowledge for better care, is to ensure that the society has better knowledge of drugs so as to give better care to drug users and stop stigmatization of drug-dependent persons. In Uyo, Udwak Etham, NTA News.
And for more on the International Day Against Drugs, let's join Dotun Oguyemi in Lagos. Hello, Dotun.
Hello, Elizabeth, and many thanks for joining us. Hello, Elizabeth. Peer pressure, negative influence, and lack of good parenting care, as well as societal challenges, are responsible for the exposure of youths to the abuse of illicit substances and drugs. As the world marks this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, Abolade Salami in this report recounts his chat with a repentant addict on risks associated with drug abuse.
I fell into drug that I even wanted to commit suicide.
Ishola was born over 4 decades ago with a great ambition of becoming a lawyer. That dream was truncated by engaging in abuse of hard substances for 18 years.
So, sir, I've lost everything, even though I lost hope. I lost everything. It's just like a last chance for me before God now helped me.
While the likes of Ishola who got involved in the unwholesome practice through wrong company wasted his things, which caused him pains, agony, neglect, mental instability, and regrets, as he described it. The need for more advocacy on the associated risk and its attendant consequences is being put in the front burner by the United Nations with the theme, Better Knowledge, Better Care, for this year's celebration, marked on the 26th of June yearly.
Minors under the age of 18 years are involved in this kind of thing, and they start from there. That's why you see many young people involved in cultism, things that we don't hear of before, and they become very deadly to the society.
It is reported that more than 14.3 million Nigerians between the ages of 15 and 65 are involved in the use of cannabis sativa, known as India hemp, cocaine, tramadol, and other narcotics. Although some of these drugs under medical supervision could be used to address severe pains in patients, the abuse is linked with the increase in criminal activities and social disorder.
We have about 14.5 tons of various types of drugs that were seized. And we consider it to be on a very high side. Efforts are being made to drastically reduce the use of drugs.
As drug abuse receives more global attention, parents are challenged to inculcate moral values in their children and words to reduce crime and promote vibrant, energetic, and resourceful youth. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, has appealed to residents not to stigmatize patients with COVID-19 and healthcare workers at the front lines in the fight against the deadly virus. The commissioner, who made the appeal while updating the media on new developments.
Nothing. The Lord's Prayer. That thing they call our Lord's Prayer when
cases continue to rise. Professor Abayomi commended the efforts of healthcare workers whom he said have remained committed in the face of the crisis.
There is psychosocial support for our doctors and healthcare professionals who are getting infected or in fact are being stigmatized by the community. Even us as professionals in the Ministry of Health and myself as the Commissioner of Health, I get stigmatized and I need psychosocial support. But that transcends across the whole spectrum of front and backline healthcare professionals. So we are stigmatized, and when we catch the infection, that stigma even increases. And we are providing psychosocial support for the medical personnel. We're trying to address the issue of stigma. COVID is a virus no different from the common cold or influenza. And there is no reason to stigmatize somebody that catches the cold, or catches the flu, or catches malaria. It's not a criminal act to catch COVID-19. You haven't done anything wrong by catching COVID-19. And therefore,
he warned residents to desist from visiting unaccredited medical facilities for the management of COVID-19, as such actions are capable of endangering their lives and that of medical workers. The Nigeria Police Force has commenced full implementation of community policing in Lagos State. Becky Madujemo reports that the committees responsible for driving the policies and strategies of the program have been inaugurated in the 14 area commands, local government area commands, local government areas, and divisional levels.
The worrisome spate of crime and criminality in Nigeria, especially murder, rape, kidnapping, and armed robbery, requires collaboration between the police and the community. The coordination between formal and informal enforcement agents is not solely to impair the activities of hardened criminals and other law violators, but to secure the lives and property of residents.
Police cannot do everything alone. So by initiating that program now, we also help the police to know the inner out of the bad people in the society.
It's very, very good to secure people in the community.
But we have to be very careful at times. If you are not so careful to know those that are going to employ into those kind of groups, you might end up employing thieves.
The inauguration of selected individuals into the Police Community Relations Committees by the Zone 2 Police Command is in line with this master plan. Crime is community-based and therefore demands a community-based approach. It is on this premise that the Lagos Command is calling on citizens to support the committees in charge.
The synergy with communities, hunters, leaders, traditional associations, even the media, is meant to solve the issue of insecurity in this country.
Without information, nobody can do anything. So now that people have come out, so the volunteer now we have selected them to be. So they are now the eyes of the police on the ground, and the police too is their eyes now.
The inaugurated members of the 14 area commands of Zone 2 have been authorized to resist crime in their jurisdiction within the scope of their engagement. In the meantime, modalities bordering on recruitment are being fine-tuned and would be released soon. In Lagos, Becky Madujemo, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Nationwide continues in Abuja after the break.
I wish to once again commend the frontline workers across the country who, on a daily basis, risk everything to ensure we win this fight. For those who got infected in the line of duty, rest assured that government will do all it takes to support you and your families during this exceedingly difficult period. I will also take this opportunity to assure you all that your safety, well-being, and welfare remains paramount to our government. I am using this opportunity to express our deepest condolences to the families of all Nigerians that have lost their loved ones as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is our collective loss, and we share your grief.
In times like this, the coronavirus is spreading so fast. The use of face masks has become very vital. More importantly, for the elderly in the society whom their immune system is not strong enough to fight the disease. If you must go out, use a face mask. It is not comfortable, but it is necessary. Wear your mask, I wear my mask. So much to do, but stay at home for your own safety. Make an extra washable mask and share with your neighbor. Everyone should use a face mask once you leave home to be safe from the coronavirus, especially the elderly persons in our society. Protect me, I'll protect you. This message was brought to you by the Coalition of Societies for the Right of Older Persons in Nigeria, COSRAPPing, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
I just don't understand this coronavirus thing. Is it real?
See, coronavirus, known as COVID-19, it's a global problem and has killed thousands of people in China, Italy, Spain, UK, US, and other countries around the world.
Okay. Now, why are they saying that we should stay home?
Because if you go outside and get in contact with someone who is infected, you become infected and then come back home, affect your family. That's how it happens in other countries.
Now, please, help me explain what this social distance is all about.
See, as we are now, the virus travels through the air and by touch. We must maintain 6-foot distance at all times.
Oh, so it's not by washing my hands with soap and water or hand sanitizer that is only important?
Washing of our hands regularly is very important. But we must come together and fight this virus like we did Ebola. It is our responsibility to each other.
Shabi, you still come back to this house?
Yeah, so you cannot even support your husband, eh?
Support who? I thought you said men are the head of the family.
How to get here? Allah, how to get here?
Feminism is all about equal right and opportunity for women.
Settle your matter in your home.
You can't keep comparing Agatha and Uchechi. Agatha is Agatha. Uchechi is Uchechi.
Ask NTA from 12 noon on the Premier League Live. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Access Bank and Baba Ijebu.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. Now, earlier, a professor of psychiatry at the University of Jos, Moses Audu, was in our Jos Network Center to highlight the dangers of this trend, drug abuse, as a possible trigger in rape and other related crimes.
What is the relationship between these illicit drugs, and rape?
Yeah, the relationship is not as simple as people think. For anyone to indulge in drug use, there are so many factors. There are individual factors and there are also socio-cultural factors. But individuals who also rape are people who might not be very sound, mentally. There's some problem. If you have to rape, then it means that something is amiss, something has gone wrong. And usually they use drugs, and these drugs, help in the facilitation of release of aggressive impulses. Once they take drugs, for instance, alcohol, whatever drugs they use, they help them to release all the aggressive impulses. And actually, rape is an act of aggression. It might be criminal, but it's also an act of aggression. And they need these drugs to mar, their judgment.
Let's now move to Ibadan, where Kemi has some reports for us. Hello, Kemi.
Thank you. Hello, Elizabeth, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. We're starting
with a discussion on the International Day Against Drugs. And here with me is the State Commander, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, your state, Justin Obi. You're welcome to our studio.
Thank you. Good evening.
What is so special about the Day Against Drug Abuse?
Thank you very much. The international community saw that the drug problem is such that no nation can solve it alone, and therefore we have international conventions bringing nations together to combat drug abuse and illicit trafficking. And in the same vein, they saw that they need a day to call the attention of the whole world to this very grave issue. And that is why in 7 December 1987, this June 26 was set aside to commemorate this day.
And since this celebration, would you say it has contributed in any way to this fight?
Yes, I would say so, because specifically every year there is a different theme, which helps us to focus our efforts in combating the drug menace. This year the theme is drug knowledge, better knowledge for better care, which is very germane because the youths are out there. Many of them are going into drugs based on false information, wrong information. The parents are out there, they don't know what to do, and they leave children who get into drugs. They get worse and worse. The society is the worst for it.
Okay, why does it seem to look as if the youth are mainly affected by this issue of drug abuse?
The youth are very impressionable. At that level, they absorb whatever information they get. Unfortunately, they have been getting the wrong information about drugs, that drugs can improve their performance, make them better, more acceptable, and then they buy it and they go into drugs. So we have to counter that, and we need everybody to be, all hands to be on deck to counter the wrong information and to respond to the youth, give them the better answers they require in the harsh environments that we find ourselves today.
So how can we arrest or reduce this in our society?
Like I said, everybody needs to come on board. And that is the essence of this day. It's not only the work of the drug enforcement agencies or the police. Everybody needs to get involved. There are different aspects to the problem. For instance, the government alone cannot provide jobs. Everybody, other people need to key in to whatever way they can assist to ameliorate the situation in the society.
Okay, and then let's look at the issue of crime rate and drug abuse. Is there any correlation?
There is. The people who use drugs, their sense of judgment, number one, is impaired. Their moral values are destroyed. So the drug itself, it propels them to commit crimes. Even the drug trafficking itself is a crime. So that is the connection. And then when they want to commit crimes, they use the drugs to boost their morale, to be able to commit those crimes.
Thank you very much. I've been talking to the State Commander, NDLEA, Justin Obi. Thanks for being in our studio.
Thank you very much.
Moving on. Projects worth millions of naira have been inaugurated to enhance facilities at the College of Medicine, University of Ibadan, for improved health service delivery. Ayemi Fajibola has details.
The project inaugurated include Natalia Lidowu Clinic Drug and Toxicology Unit, College of Medicine and Computer E-Learning Training Center, renovation of college building, as well as the medical school History Park. The provost of the college and others who spoke while describing the institution as the first in the sub-Saharan Africa said the college is one of the main research and training health institutions in the country, providing quality health education that drives the development of effective health system.
This shows that we have maintained the vision of our founders and we have continued to serve not just our country but the world at large.
I'd like to call on governments and other stakeholders to continue to support the College of Medicine so that they can continue to provide health service, research and training for our great country, Nigeria.
On its part, Oyo State government said it will continue to partner with the University of Ibadan College of Medicine.
Our found the purpose to move
reach out to the government. We always collaborate.
The college was established in 1980 with a vision to be a world-class institution for academic excellence geared towards meeting societal needs. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
The burial of former governor of Oyo State Senator Abiola Ajimobi, billed to hold today, has been postponed till a later date. Dayo Gushola is at the home of a late All Progressives Congress chieftain to capture the mood.
As early as 7 a.m. on Friday, sympathizers across different walks of life have thronged the residential home of late Senator Abiola Ajimobi to condole the family. They described him as a far-brand politician that raised the bar of governance in the state.
With great sadness and deep regrets, but in total submission to the will of the Almighty Allah, we announce the transition of His Excellency, Senator Ishaq Abiola Ajimobi.
We lost again. And I must confess to you, the vacuum will be difficult to fill.
Is a man that is very vocal, brave, that will tell you to your face, who are you? And that is what will be missing in him.
It's a big gap that all of us will continue to miss in the political terrain of Oyo State.
Conditions, we do not want the gathering to be too much, but we thank you and we appreciate every one of you.
The remains of the former governor has still been awaited from Lagos, where other processes leading to his final journey to the great beyond will commence. We'll keep you posted as the situation unfolds. In Ibadan, Dayo Gushola, NTA News.
Thank you, Dayo. And from here, I'll hand you over to Elizabeth in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you so much, Kemi. More on the late former governor of Oyo State as we reflect on his life and times.
Abiola Ajimobi, who was the first two-term governor of Oyo State, was born on December 16, 1949, at Ojaoba area in Ibadan. He attended St. Patrick Primary School, Okepadi, and Ibadan City Council Primary School, Agbeni, before proceeding to Lagelu Commercial School, Ibadan, for his secondary education. He was at the State University of New York in Buffalo, where he bagged his first degree in business administration and finance. He had his MBA in operations, research and marketing, with a concentration in finance at Governor State University, Illinois, USA. He was the managing director and chief executive officer of the National Oil and Chemical Marketing Company, a subsidiary of Shell Petroleum Nigeria. In 2003, Abiola Ajimobi became a senator in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, occupying the position of deputy minority leader. He lost his first attempt at becoming the governor of Oyo State in 2007, under the umbrella of All Nigerian People's Party, ANPP. He won the second attempt in 2011 under the Action Congress of Nigeria, ACN, and became the first governor of Oyo State to be re-elected in April 11, 2015, under the All Progressive Congress, APC. He was known to have made a lot of achievements in various sectors. His attempts to go back to the Senate in 2019 failed through a defeat. He was, however, appointed as the acting national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, by the recently dissolved National Working Committee on June 17, 2020. Senator Abiola Isiaka Ajimobi is survived by his wife, Mrs. Florence Ajimobi, and 5 children. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress Governors Forum says it has received the death of Senator Abiola Ajimobi with heavy heart and gratitude to Allah for a life well spent. A statement by its chairman and governor of Kebbi State, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, the Progressives governors described his death as a loss to the nation and the Progressives community. Also, the All Progressives Congress, APC, in a statement by its national chairman, Caretaker Committee, May Malaboni, said Senator Ajimobi's death has come at a crucial time when the party is looking up to its well-meaning leaders like Ajimobi to champion the needed reforms and reconciliation in the party. President of the Senate also said Oyo State will always remember late Ajimobi for his numerous achievements, over which the people rewarded him as the first governor to be re-elected in the history of the state. Similarly, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, described the demise of the immediate past governor of Oyo State, Abiola Ajimobi, who served the state diligently, as a painful loss. In the same vein, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, described the demise of Senator Ajimobi as a national tragedy and a huge loss, not only to the APC in his state, but the entire nation. Now to coronavirus update. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has announced 594 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 22,614. 159 cases in Lagos, 106 in Delta, 44 in Ondo, 34 each in the FCT and Edo, while Oyo and Kaduna have 33 cases each. Others are Enugu 28, Katsina 25, Imo 26, Adamawa 15, Ogun 12 and Osun 11. Abia recorded 8 cases, Rivers 6, 5 each in Nasarawa, Bauchi and Niger, 4 in Kebbi, 3 in Ekiti and 1 each in Plateau and Taraba. In total, there are now 22,614 active cases with 7,822 patients discharged. Unfortunately, there have also been 549 deaths recorded so far. And still on COVID-19, contact tracing for the confirmed 3 members of the Oyo State Executive Council tested positive to COVID-19 has begun, even as Kaduna State House of Assembly remain closed. Our correspondents bring us these reports.
As of 24th of June 2020, the total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Oyo State stands at 1,155, including the 3 members of the State Executive Council that recently tested positive to the virus. The consistent increase in the cases of the virus in the state was, however, attributed to sustained community testing spanning across 10 out of the 33 local government areas in the state.
I have personally led the team. I've been able to see all of them, and we've been able to see their contacts. We've been able to even have samples taken from their contacts as we speak.
In the State House of Assembly, activities were being conducted in compliance with COVID-19 protocols.
The position of the House is that we believe the government should do its finding before the schools will be reopened, because this thing involves little children.
For now, no member of the State House of Assembly has been tested.
Thank you, Dayo Ogunshola. I am standing by Lugard Hall, which used to be the center of colonial administration in northern Nigeria, and now houses 34 members of the State House of Assembly and its supporting staff. The last event that took place here that made headlines was the impeachment of the Deputy Speaker of the House. And some days after, one of the supporting staff of the State House of Assembly tested positive for COVID-19, and thereafter the State House of Assembly was sealed off.
After the suspension of all activities at the House of Assembly, a team of medical experts were sent in to conduct COVID-19 tests on all the 34 members of the House and its supporting staff.
The Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly has directed that each and every staff in the admin and finance sections should be put to test to establish whether they are positive or negative. So far, just 4 people have been tested positive.
The Kaduna State House of Assembly remains closed and no date has been fixed for its reopening. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Muhammad, NTA News.
Into economic matters, some economic experts are of the opinion that the African continent can survive the impending global recession occasioned by COVID-19 if proactive steps are taken towards the survival of micro, small and medium enterprises. Amongst them is Director General, Nigerian Institute of Advanced Studies, Professor Mohammed Taufik Ladan, and Tax Academicians Association of Nigerian, who in a webinar suggested ways of addressing the impact of COVID-19 on businesses. Benny Adams tells us more.
Micro, small and medium enterprises are believed to be the drivers of the Nigerian economy, and amid COVID-19, many actors in the sector have continued to lick their wounds as a result of lockdowns and low patronage. While awaiting more support from government to survive, experts note that those operating in the telecoms, the digital economy, agri and pharmaceuticals are smiling to the bank as the pandemic benefits their trade. Dr. Abdallah Ali Nakia, a tax consultant, University of Ghana, believes that tax is a necessary evil. Therefore, while businesses that suffer losses during COVID-19 should enjoy tax holidays and palliatives, those doing well should be taxed more. Others are of the view that government should diversify the economy by exploring opportunities in the non-oil sector rather than depend on taxes from small businesses. They express optimism that the economic stimulus bill before the National Assembly and the economic sustainability plan for post-COVID-19 will enjoy the political will needed to revamp the economy.
I believe strongly that, we can get out, reasonably, of a likely recession that we may actually find ourselves post-COVID-19 if we implement the economic sustainability plan.
Experts also advocate the adoption of measures to slow down inflation and reduce the size of governance for a sustainable development of the economy. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Now, in many parts of the Federal Capital Territory, people are emerging from the COVID-19-induced lockdown happy and optimized. Business areas and some government offices are gradually coming to life, and people are reuniting, sharing experiences. Amisu Rogo, however, reports that there are salient issues of safety that must be addressed.
In many communities around Abuja, the relaxation of the lockdown by the federal government has come to them as a pleasant development. They are happy. At least now a number of them can go out and look for their means of livelihood and probably do their travels. But then there are some specific things I observed among the communities. In many places, yes, the law observing the mouth covering is being complied with. But what of social distancing? What of the washing of hands where necessary? Those protocols are very difficult to comply with. In many parts of the FCT, the ambience is echoing back with stridency. Deserted marketplaces, major transit locations, major roads and streets, all are getting back to life. It is a natural response to the relaxation of the COVID-19-induced lockdown by the federal government and how much the people welcomed it. Ene lives her life selling pear and cucumber on the walkway of Area 1 market. For 3 months she could not sell, and her husband does not work. You could not imagine her relief now.
I know they come because of rundown. I know they come before. As the day open and now I come out.
So how happy are you now that the place is open again?
I dey happy because hungry day before we no see food chop before. As they all open the rundown now, they manage myself with this business.
Around Yanya, the famed gridlock is resurfacing. There is a traffic blast. Movements are no longer simply impeded. Indeed, in many areas, public temperature checks are conducted, but not many people wear masks, nor observe the social distancing rule. Many people believe that if people will be given more leverage to move around, there must be an enforcement of safety rules. More so, because the COVID-19 statistics coming from across the country do not give cause for cheer. In Abuja, Mohammed Hamish Rogo, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Rogo. And away from now to donations on containment of COVID-19, the Nigerian Navy has taken delivery of ventilators to aid the fight against the novel coronavirus pandemic. Defense correspondent Najato Tijani reports.
Is just as important as securing the maritime domain of the country. So this event to receive 30 ventilators for inpatient care at Nigerian Navy hospitals is highly appreciated.
Looking at our hospitals, especially the one in Lagos and the one in Calabar, to see how we can work with relevant agencies to see to it that we are on top of the station as regards combating this pandemic.
And the military is known for their discipline, dedication, and structure. So let's support the Nigerian government with ventilators. Now we came up with the same 50 ventilators for that purpose, and 20 was done through the NNPC effort, and then the rest through the Nigerian Navy.
With more than 20,000 cases of COVID-19 in the country and counting, Nigeria is striving to keep fatalities at the barest minimum. Ventilators, said to be vital in the treatment of critically ill COVID-19 patients, are inadequate in public and military hospitals. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Now to security. The Nigerian military says its air component has destroyed 2 camps and a cave hideout of members of the notorious bandit gang led by Hassan Tagwaye at a forest in Zamfara State. A statement by the Coordinator of Defense Media Operations, Major General John Enenche, indicates that the airstrikes, which also resulted in the neutralization of some key armed bandits, leaders, and several of the fighters, were executed on the 23rd of June 2020 under Operation Wutandaji. Human intelligence reports later confirmed that Hassan Tagwaye and his twin brother Husseini, all along with several other bandits, were neutralized in the airstrikes, while a few escaped with injuries. People in the general area advised to report those with sudden and suspicious injuries to the security forces. This is to ensure that the escapees are captured. The Chief of the Air Staff has commended Air Component for its professionalism. Now let's pause for some messages. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Okay, guys, let's do this. Action.
You can deceive everyone, but you certainly cannot deceive me. I see you.
But if the package is faulty, there'll be no buyers.
So I suggest you sit down and have a talk with your husband.
Once you have faith, everything is possible.
You heard him, right?
You needed help and I helped you.
This place would do so. They also work in wolves.
You mean you still work for Matthew Osage?
What?
Nigerians, let us take responsibility. Stay healthy, stay safe, and curb the spread of the virus. Take responsibility. The coronavirus spreads from one person to another. Let us avoid crowd gathering of any kind for any reason. Take responsibility. Avoid traveling from one state to another during these lockdown restrictions. Obey all the rules that are put in place. Take responsibility. Stop spreading fake news and unverified reports about the coronavirus. There is no known cure for COVID-19. Take responsibility. Observe all the measures that can help stop the spread of the virus. Together, we can do this, but only if we take responsibility. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
Ask NTA from 12 noon on the Premier League Live. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Access Bank and Babai Jebu.
Glad to know you're still there. Now let's join Mohammed in Maiduguri for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello, Elizabeth, and thanks for joining us. Northeast Development Commission has presented operational security vehicles to the Nigerian Armed Forces and other security formations, as well as ambulances and medical equipment to federal health institutions across the Northeast as part of intervention in the 2 sectors. Senate President Ahmed Lawan, supported by the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, handed over the vehicles to the security formations and federal health institutions in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. Mohammed Goni reports.
Handing over the operational security vehicle to the armed forces as well as the federal health institutions was to enhance the ongoing counter-insurgency operation and to equip the health sector for quality health care delivery services. Represented by the Senator representing Southern Borno Senatorial District, Mohammed Ali Ndume, Senate President Ahmed Lawan urged NEDC to collaborate with state governments in the sub-region.
I want to use this opportunity to beg the service chiefs here present or represented and other security agencies special recruitment should be considered for them.
The most important thing that I shall be calling upon the Nigerian military is for them to create a enabling environment for our farmers to go back to their land.
The donation of ambulances, hospital beds, and solar refrigerators to the 8 federal tertiary health institutions based in the Northeast by the Commission is also a step in the right direction.
On behalf of representatives of other governors in the sub-region, Yobe State Deputy Governor Idi Barde Gubama enjoined the security operatives as well as health institutions to imbibe culture of maintenance. Managing Director, Northeast Development Commission, Mohamed Alkali Gweli, highlighted areas of intervention. There were goodwill messages from the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mongono, retired, Chairman, Senate and House of Representatives Committee on NEDC, Yusuf, and Khadija Abba Ibrahim, describing the intervention as a welcome development. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Koni, NTA News.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum has lauded performance of staff and management of the NTA Maiduguri Zonal Network Center. This was during his visit to the network center as part of tour to media outfits in the state. Here again is Muhammad Goni with more details of the story.
Professor Babagana Umara's visit to NTA Maiduguri Zonal Network Center was to show gratitude to the organization's professionalism in news content and programs geared towards supporting Borno State government. The governor noted the extra effort made by management and staff to ensure timely dissemination of information.
I have had a series of consultations with the management of the NTA Maiduguri. So we have agreed upon that they should forward their request, and government will not hesitate to provide what it can with a view to ensuring that their services are being enhanced.
You are our partners in progress. We have been covering your activities right from the word go. You have just clocked 1 year in office. I'm glad to note that you have performed wonderfully well.
The zonal director assured the state government of the organization's commitment to serve the government and people of the state, noting the continuous support of the Borno State government. As part of the visit, the governor inspected some facilities at the Maiduguri Zonal Network Center, being conducted around by the Assistant Director Engineering Mohamed Ndirbita, who highlighted the operations and challenges of the equipment and facilities inspected. He also had studio discussion on a wide range of issues, including humanitarian support and the social protection. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
You're on to Nationwide from Maiduguri. Elizabeth in Abuja is now ready to take it away from here. Elizabeth?
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Now to sports. NTA set to transmit English Premier League and German Bundesliga matches on Saturday. Ayodeji Makinde tells us more on Sports Update.
As the dust raised by major decision makers to end the current Nigeria Professional Football League season via points per game system is yet to settle, the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development still awaits official communication of the final decision, after which it will liaise with necessary authorities to make a final pronouncement on the league. The Nigeria Water Ski Federation has concluded plans to invite athletes from 36 states and FCT ahead of the 2020 World Water Ski Championship at the Borek Lake, France, which has now been rescheduled to September 13 to 19, 2021 due to coronavirus pandemic. President of the Federation, Rachel Backham, affirmed that invited athletes will train at Jabi Lake, where 10 of them will be selected after a 1-month trial to compete with 35 other countries.
We have people who are good with aerobics, who are good with all of these stunts, who can do very well with the sports.
To the English Premier League, Liverpool fans world over are relishing winning their first league title in 30 years after second-place Manchester City slipped to 24 points behind following a 2-1 defeat to Chelsea, with 7 match days till the end of the season.
They did their homework well, they planned, they got a good coach, and it was more of teamwork and fan supporting them all the way.
Meanwhile, NTA is set to beam live on Saturday, Aston Villa versus Wolverhampton Wanderers match at 12 noon, just as the German Bundesliga season will be rounded off with Eintracht Frankfurt taking on Paderborn at 2 p.m. Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
And that's Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. Good evening.